I think the way the game's going, it's pretty obvious that any distance increase is going to help you as long as you don't, really start hitting it sideways.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brian Jeffro. Welcome back to In My Bag. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by Patrick Cantlay, PGA Tour winner, two-time actually. And he's had a really great start to the season. And Patrick, I want to ask you, T11, T7 since the restart of the season, why is nobody talking about you?
Well, winning always helps. So I guess I haven't been doing a good enough job. But as long as I keep putting myself in contention and giving myself chances to win, the last two finishes have been good rounds on Sunday to kind of have a good finish. So I'm looking to get, into contention a little earlier in the tournament and give myself a chance to win.
I was going to ask you about that 65 this past weekend to finish in the final round. How much confidence does that give you going into your title defense at Memorial this week?
Yeah, it definitely does. I think anytime you can get a good round in at a golf course that you're going to play a tournament at is definitely going to help give you those good vibes. So you step up on the first tee with a bunch of confidence. And the greens were a little faster than they were the rest of the week on Sunday, which is what we're going to see at Memorial. So, I love the golf course and I think it's one of the best we play. So I'm excited for Memorial to come around and the greens to get back up to that 13, 14 that we're used to.
I got to ask you, is Jack Nicklaus going to be at the tournament?
Oh, I assume so. Yeah. I spoke with him last week at the Bears Club before I came up for last week's tournament. And he'll be up there, I imagine. And I'm looking forward to seeing him. And he always does such a great job with his event and getting his golf course ready. So it should be another year of a great tournament, great golf course. So it should be exciting.
And the field is absolutely loaded. As the defending champion, who's the favorite to win this week from your perspective?
That's a good question. I mean, you can't doubt Tiger's track record. I mean, he's won the tournament 5 times. So anytime you're not picking him even still, I think is still silly just because of how many tournaments he's won and what his track record is at Murfield Village. But I do like my chances. I've had a good track record there and had a nice warm-up this week at the workday.
Was there more buzz about Tiger coming back last week on tour? I know Justin Thomas was asked about it, and he said that he was kind of, busting Tiger's chops about not coming out sooner because he was afraid of the competition. Was there more buzz within the locker room, around the tournament last week because Tiger was coming back this week?
I didn't notice any really, but I think everybody on tour likes when he comes out and competes. I think it elevates the tournament, and he's one of the greatest to ever play the game. So having him in the field is really a treat, especially someone like me who grew up watching him play and win so many golf tournaments. It's it's exciting to have him in the field, and he's great for golf. So I'm excited to have him back playing and hope he can play some more this year.
What's it like for you now, because this will be your first time since the restart of playing back-to-backs, going into a tournament that you've had success at in the past and you've obviously won it last year? Where's your game at right now, and what should we be looking for going into this week for you?
Yeah, my game is good right now. I played really well yesterday, and fortunate to have that be the last round I've played on that golf course, and then getting another crack at it again. I would say my tournament rust was there a little bit, and my first couple starts back after not playing any events for 3 or so months. So I feel like I've knocked the rust off, and I'm starting to dial in my numbers a little better, and I'm really looking forward to this week. It's like I said, it's one of my favorites already. So I feel good about my game, and after yesterday's round, I'm really excited for this week and feeling confident.
Is that what it is? Because obviously I know you were playing, and you're playing on courses during COVID and practicing and trying to stay tight. What was the biggest challenge about coming back and getting into, as you said, tournament shape?
Yeah, I think there's some level of just playing tournaments and getting used to that being the normal. And even when you're playing, maybe some money games at home with the guys, it's just not the same. And then, for me at least, when I get some adrenaline going out on the golf course, which is just natural for playing tournament, I hit the ball a little farther. So being able to dial in those numbers and get really specific and feeling the difference between, a 148 9-iron and a 150 9-iron, really trying to dial in those specific numbers makes a huge difference when you are playing a tournament, and you don't notice that as much when you're playing at home with the guys.
Yeah, that's a great point. How is it harder to kind of get that adrenaline and keep that adrenaline without the fans? Like, what's that been like for you and the other people on tour playing without fans, and in kind of like in kind of like the country club setting, but obviously in a tournament feel?
Yeah. Well, obviously we miss the fans, and I enjoy playing in front of the fans more than the current state of things. So I'm excited to have them back, hopefully soon. But as far as the golf goes, it still feels like a big event. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't have the same excitement, and it's not as fun when you roll in a 40-footer and there's just crickets out there. But I think a lot of guys, myself included, most of the pressure that we feel is internal pressure to compete against the other players, and so that is unchanged. And it hasn't been that difficult for me to really focus and recreate that tournament feel. For me, it still feels like a tournament.
Did you consider getting mic'd up? I know there was talk about that at the very beginning of the restart. Were you considering that at all? And why do you think ultimately that didn't happen for anybody?
Yeah, I don't think getting mic'd up's a good idea for a number of reasons, but mainly you're out there for a long time, and you're out there for 5 hours, and you're competing at the highest level, and so it's easy to be raw and to be emotional out there. And the conversations that I have with my caddy, or even that if I would want to have with myself, I don't think that should be out there for the public. I don't have a problem with the boom mics being out there and picking up me and my caddy talking about a particular shot, but I really don't think it's right to be mic'd up for the whole time while you're in competition, and while you're competing at the highest level. I think it's another factor that really you shouldn't have to be burdened with.
That's totally fair. One other player I wanted to ask you about is Bryson DeChambeau. A lot of people are saying that, he's broken golf with these massive drives. Do you agree with that? And what do you think about the way that he's come out this restart, having put on all that weight and added all that distance?
Yeah, well, obviously it's impressive. And he's not only hitting it far, but he's also hitting it straight, or straightish. Obviously it's going to be harder to hit it as straight when you're hitting it that far. I don't really know exactly what to think. I think we still have a small sample size. So he has played, I think maybe 3 or 4 tournaments already, but we haven't seen it for a year, so we haven't seen the effect of it. I'm curious to see if that inspires more guys to start playing like that more. And I think we've already seen that trend, so I'm curious if that accelerates it at all. I do think it's a little bit of a shame to see course architecture, the way that it was supposed, the way a hole was supposed to be designed, to kind of be out the window for someone that can hit it that far. But all the more power to him. I can understand why he's doing it, and it seems to be working. So I'm not arguing with it from that standpoint. But I can't imagine, Alistair McKenzie putting a bunker out there and enjoying, someone carrying it by 15 or 20 yards.
Are you going to start bulking up because of this?
I don't think I'm going to start bulking up. I don't have any plans to do that. But I think the way the game's going, it's pretty obvious that any distance increase is going to help you, as long as you don't, really start hitting it sideways. So that's already been, one of the focuses of mine, and I have hit it further over the last couple of years than I did previously. So that continues to be a focus, but I don't think I'm going to go about it the same way.
So you're not going to drink 6 protein shakes a day?
No, I'm not.
Well, you were nice enough to join us because of your partnership with Marcus by Goldman Sachs. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that and specifically how your father and your team continue to support you.
Yeah, so growing up, my dad took me to all my tournaments for the most part, and he was a good player himself and taught me a lot about the game and introduced me to the game. And so this collaboration with Marcus and my dad really has been kind of organic and natural and building for a long time. He's been a part of my team for a long time, and I owe a lot of my success to his investment in my golf and in me. And so I think it's really cool, and I appreciate, Marcus really being able to showcase that a little bit because, it doesn't get talked about a lot, but everyone has a team around them, and everyone has people that are enabling them to compete out here. And my team's essential for me, and so it's really satisfying to see that showcased, and I appreciate the ability to do that.
Especially in these times, I imagine the team is even more important.
Yeah, I think we're spending even more time with that close-knit team just because of the circumstances. That team part has always been important to me, and it's really not doable without the hard work from all of them.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you out on the course this weekend at Memorial.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the time.